Hello and welcome to Weekly Calendar. My name's Jeff, I'm glad you're here. Let's just jump right in. I was recently asked the following question. Jeff, my programs have different start and end dates. How can I see a weekly calendar showing which programs are running every day? And I'm going to answer that question in this video. Exercise 1. In this exercise, we're just going to get familiar with some of the functions that we'll use. The first function is called sequence, and it creates a sequence of numbers. Equals sequence. The first argument is the number of rows we want. We'll say 1. The next argument is the number of columns we want. We'll say 7. The next argument is what number to start at. We'll just say whatever the user types in here. And the fourth argument is the step value or the increment value. Here we'll just step it by 1. Close function and enter. As you can see, this creates a sequence of numbers. If we want to start it at 10, we can. If we want to start it at 1, we can. And if we want to start it at 50, we certainly can. The next function is weekday. It returns a number that represents the day of the week. Equals weekday. We just point it to the date. And then we close the function and hit enter. Now this function returns 1, which tells us that this date is a Sunday. But we can change which number represents which day of the week. By default, 1 represents Sunday, but we could say 1 should represent a Monday, 1 should represent Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you get the idea. So depending on what you're working on, check out those argument values. In our case, this is fine, so we'll hit enter. The next function is ISNUMBER. This returns true or false if the value is a number. Equals ISNUMBER, and we're going to point it to this cell. Close function and enter. False, A is not a number. 1 is a number. 100 is a number. 500 is a number, and you get the idea. B is not a number. The next function is find. This lets us know if one value is found within another value. Equals find. I want to try to find this, comma, within here. Close function and enter. This returns 1, which means that A is found at the first position within that text string. B is found at the second position. C is found at the third position, and you get the idea. The next function is filter. This lets us return a range of cells based on a condition. Equals filter. I want to return this column, but I only want to include certain rows. I only want to include those rows where this is equal to 1. Close function and enter. And as you can see, this returns only the category 1 products. Now what if we wanted these values to be returned in a single cell? Well, that takes us to our next function, ARRAYTOTEXT. Let's wrap the ARRAYTOTEXT function around the results of the filter function. Enter. And now as you can see, these results have been returned to a single cell that provides a comma-separated list. If we wanted to use a different delimiter besides a comma space, we can use a different function called TEXTJOIN. So let me undo, and now let's wrap the TEXTJOIN function around the filter function instead. The first argument is the delimiter. For example, maybe we want a colon. The next argument lets us control if we should ignore any empty cells within the range. In this case, we'll say true. And then the text we want to join is the results of the filter function. Let's close the function and hit enter. Now, as you can see, we have a different delimiter. So basically, if we want a simple comma-separated list, we're going to go with ARRAYTOTEXT. If we want to customize that, we're going to use TEXTJOIN, which provides more options. Finally, I want to show you the CHAR function. The CHAR function returns the character specified by the code number. So if we use code 10 and hit enter, this looks like nothing happened, like there was no delimiter. But really what's happening is there's a line break. We just can't see it because of the cell formatting. Let's go to Format Cells, go to Alignment, and let's ask it to wrap text and click OK. And now we can see the line break. And now that we're warmed up with these functions, we're going to build our calendar in the next exercise. Exercise 2. Here's our list of events, and we want them to show up for every day between the start and end date. Let's first get a row that has all of our dates. Equals sequence. We want 1 row, we want 7 columns, we want to start it with whatever date is here, and we're going to leave out the step argument because when it's omitted, it defaults to 1. Enter. Now we have a row with the dates that are in this week. And now we want to retrieve the titles for each day. Let's start with the filter function. We want to return the title, comma, but we only want to include certain rows. So I'm going to open up an opening paren and another opening paren. And I'm going to say I only want to include those rows where our date here is greater than or equal to the start date column. Then I'm going to close that paren. I'm going to use the multiplication operator, which means and and I'm going to open up another paren. And where this date is less than or equal to the end date. And I'm going to close the paren, close the next paren, and then close the filter function. Enter. Now I'm going to copy and paste, and let's see what we got. From January 6th to the 11th, we should have CPR, which we do, and it stops, perfect. And January 9th to the 18th, we have swim, and we can see that looks good. But here, when there are multiple events for one day, they're returned in separate cells. Can you remember how we can combine these into a single cell? Well, if you said array to text or text join, good for you. So let's go back here, and let's wrap the array to text function around all of this. Close function and enter. Now let's do a copy and paste. Okay, that looks better. So if we wanted these to be with a comma separated list, like we're good to go. But what if we wanted each event on its own line? Well, for that we can use text join. So I'm just going to undo all this, and now let's wrap the text join function around the filter function. The first argument is the delimiter, and do you remember how to set up a new line break? If you said char 10, good for you. Ignore empty, we're going to go with true, and then we're just going to wrap everything that the filter function returns, close the function, and enter. I'm going to go ahead and copy, and I'm going to go ahead and paste. And now we can see each event gets displayed on its own line. Next week, we have 1/13/2030, and our weekly calendar is updated accordingly. But what if we had events that only happened on certain weekdays? Can we do that? Sure. And that takes us to our next exercise. Exercise 3 equals sequence. We want 1 row, 7 columns, and we want it to start here. Close function and enter. And now let's grab our events from the calendar. Let's start with the filter function. We want to get the titles, comma, but we only want to include certain rows. So I'm going to open a paren and open a second paren. I only want to include those rows where this date is greater than or equal to my start date. And then I'm going to close that, and I'm going to use the multiplication operator for and. I'm going to set up my next condition, and where our date is less than or equal to this end date column. I'm going to close that condition. I'm going to use another multiplication operator for and then let's get set up with our next condition. And where you can find the weekday of this within our weekday list. Close find, close filter, and enter. Now we get a value. And why is that? Well, basically, we need to find out if this is a number. We need to wrap the ISNUMBER function around this find function to gracefully handle errors. ISNUMBER and enter. And now we have a calc error. So what we basically need to do is say if this filter function doesn't return anything, in other words, if it's empty, we just want to return a double quote, which is nothing. Enter. Now let's copy that and paste. So what this is saying is that CPR starts on 1/6, but it only happens on weekdays 2, 3, and 4. That's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Swim happens from 1/9 to 1/18, but it only happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And dive happens from 1/14 to 1/26 only on Sunday and Saturday. So we just type the weekday code for whichever days we want these events to appear in our calendar. Now, when one day has multiple results, we want to put it all in a single cell. So we'll just keep it simple, and we'll use array to text. Close function and enter. And now let's do a copy and paste. Now let's explore these weekdays. Let's say CPR was taught on Sundays. We could simply add a 1 to the weekday list, and then it's going to appear. Let's go ahead and delete that. And let's say it's also taught on Thursdays. That's a 5 and enter. And now this is updated. So as you can see, this is the formula that allows us to populate a weekly calendar for all the events going on between the start and end dates, but where we also consider the weekday. This is how we can set up a weekly calendar of events. It not only recognizes the start and end dates, it also recognizes the weekdays. Hopefully this has been helpful. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Hey Excel user, if you ever need to create summary reports, check out my Pivot Table for Beginners video. It starts at the beginning and shows how to store the data transactions in a table and then how to summarize those transactions with a pivot table report. I hope it helps unlock the incredible power of pivot tables.
This video is a production of Excel University.